Good morning. I was watching The Art Assignment, which is another YouTube channel by the Greens. This time it's Sarah Green, John Green's wife, Sarah Urist Green, who is an art historian, an artist, a curator, and an author. She wrote a book recently called You Are an Artist, which I have but had not yet read. And she has a channel called The Art Assignment. And within that channel, there is a series of videos asking various people, what are your 5 favorite works of art? Now, when I first hear that phrase, my initial thought is not to think outside the box at all, but think, okay, 5 favorite works of art. This means 5 paintings hanging in a museum. But the people she's talking to and asking this question have gone way outside the box and are picking all sorts of different things. So I have picked a few things that I would just off the top of my head, these are some favorite works of art, and I actually have 8 of them here. I have a little list, not because I can't remember 8 things, but because I have to limit myself to 8 things, because I could think of bunches and bunches. Again, this is a list, not really putting any thought into it at all, and I'm going to kind of whiz through it quickly. I may do more in-depth videos of each of these things later, but anyway, here is my list. As of today, these are 8 things that would be at least on my list of favorite works of art. Number 1, the Sandinista album by The Clash. This was 1980. Their previous album was London Calling, which was a double album set. Record companies tend to not like double albums because they're more expensive to make. The return on investment isn't as good usually, and sometimes they don't sell as well. So apparently, the story goes, when the record company was talking to Joe Strummer, the leader of The Clash, or at least one of the leaders of The Clash, about the follow-up album, he said, please tell me it's not going to be a double album. So Joe Strummer quite honestly said, it's not going to be a double album. Sandinista is a triple album, and it is a huge, sprawling mess. It's got all kinds of different styles on there. It's got some stuff that is just them fooling around, clearly just experimenting, trying some things, some of which work and some of which don't. But it's one of my favorite albums just because of that, because it is a huge, sprawling mess. So that's 1. Number 2, Andy Warhol. Not any specific work by Andy Warhol. I'm not actually that wild about most of his artwork, but Andy Warhol, the person, endlessly fascinating individual, and I like what he did just for sort of the conversation about art. He forced everyone to ask, what is art? What makes art good or bad or valuable or not valuable? What makes an artist an artist? He was a fascinating person. Andy Warhol's greatest work of art is Andy Warhol, and he's one of my favorites. Number 3, the movie, Dr. Zhivago. I love the book, Dr. Zhivago, too. But my first introduction to the show, or to the work, Dr. Zhivago, was the movie, the 1964 or 65, was it? David Lean version. It's just a beautiful, beautiful movie. It's great to look at. It's great to listen to. The theme song from it, the popular song anyway, was Laura's theme, which was then turned into Somewhere My Love, which became overworked and overplayed and is kind of the quintessential sappy love song. But in the context of the movie as Laura's theme, it is beautiful, and it's just a great movie. Number 3, Dr. Zhivago, the movie. David Lean, director. Number 4, another show, this time a Broadway show, Sweeney Todd by Stephen Sondheim. The Demon Barber of Fleet Street. It's just one of the, I think, the best put together shows in terms of the acting, the music, the story. Everything just goes together seamlessly and beautifully and wonderfully. It's a sort of a cruel yet funny yet tragic story. The Demon Barber of Fleet Street, Stephen Sondheim's Sweeney Todd. Number 4. Number 5, Chicago. Not the band, the place, the city of Chicago. I remember first time I visited the place. It was my first really big city, my first experience of a big city. And there was a spot along the Chicago River where you can look across the river and you see the city. Then you can see a layer under the city of middle whacker, upper whacker. It was on top, it's a dry street. Then you can see a layer before that. So there's all these layers that you can see. And I remember looking at this and just thinking, what a wonderful, marvelous, weird, busy, dirty, active, vibrant thing this city is that people have made. So Chicago, the city itself, is on my list of great works of art. Next, Roy Lichtenstein. This one actually is a painting in a museum. When I first started getting really into art, I was out in Boston. I was living in Boston at the time. And I started going to the museums around Boston and saw a picture of Roy Lichtenstein's The Great Pyramid. Lo and behold, I found out that the Great Pyramid is actually hanging in my hometown of Des Moines, which I had no idea. So next time I visited Des Moines, I went to visit it, and now I get to work in the same room as Roy Lichtenstein's The Great Pyramid. There's some weird shadow stuff. If I walk backwards, you can see me, but then I'm going to trip and fall, so I'm not going to do that. Anyway, so there, Roy Lichtenstein's The Great Pyramid, another official work of art, this time sort of a conceptual piece by Chris Burden. Another one that I first saw out in Boston at the Institute of Contemporary Art, a work called Samson, which was basically a giant thing. Like, if you've read the story, let's just put it this way, go read in the Bible the story of Samson, about how he pushed on the sides of a building and destroyed it by bringing it down on himself. I'll include a link to an article about Samson below. Go read up on Samson. Fascinating commentary on art, artists, the audience for art, and the venues that show art. Chris Burden, Samson. And finally, am I at the bottom? Yes, I'm at the end of my list here. A film that I remember first seeing in grade school, and I've mentioned this before, I think both on my vlog and my blog, by Saul Bass, called Why Man Creates. Now, the very title itself dates it. You probably wouldn't call something Why Man Creates, or Why People Create, or Why Humanity Creates, or what I don't know, but you wouldn't say Why Man Creates. It is, the film is a period piece, 1968. It reeks 1968, both in its look and its style and its overwhelming whiteness and maleness. But it is still a fascinating short film, about 25 minutes, about people being creative. So there's my very short list of 8 favorite works of art. And I may delve into these in more detail later, but for now, I'm going to wrap it up, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.